Patrick, what's the one tip you can give us to help keep us cool in the heat of the summer?
Well, David, I've given this a lot of thought and I could not just stick to a one thing answer. So I'm going to give you two things.
Okay.
The first being proper clothing. Definitely having the right clothing during the summertime is really going to make a big difference in how you feel when you fish. And then the second thing would be going into sunscreen.
Mm.
Now, how does that keep you cool in the summer? If you don't wear sunscreen and and you're fishing, whether it's on the beach or down the caney, you're gonna get those UV rays bouncing off the water. And if you're on a trip with your buddies and you get burned, it's not going to be a pleasant trip for the rest of the fishing days. So I would say it'd probably be just a twofold answer there to that question.
Well, that going on a fishing trip with your buddies just hit home with me. And so, quick story: we were at the White River, and I want to say it's about May-ish, somewhere in the first of in the spring, and warm, very warm. And we were there, and it was about 70 degrees and no cloud in the sky for 3 days. And the first day, I didn't take sunscreen or lips for my lips either. And you talk about somebody, we were on the river for 12 hours. So we just sat out there and baked. And I didn't think too much about it. And boy, I paid the price. I paid the price for the rest of that trip, and then on my lips for about a week and a half before they finally just blistered up completely, and then finally just scabbed over. And it was awful. It was a awful feeling to know that I had done that to myself. But I mean, we were down. We were about an hour from Cotter, 45 minutes to Cotter. So we were at right where the Buffalo comes in. So just hard to get anywhere. No stores, no nothing. We were down there, and I didn't get it. I just didn't get what I needed when we went out the first evening and had this world's second best pizza. And folks that are listening to this over in Arkansas probably know exactly where we were eating. But yeah, it was pretty terrible. You're right. This whole sunscreen thing um, is is nothing, no laughing matter. So what drew you to this conclusion on this question?
Well, so a little bit about my background. I'm actually a retired physician assistant. Practiced for about 30 years here locally. I did spend a good amount of that time in dermatology as well. So also have family history of some skin cancer issues. So it means a lot. And, just like every other angler, I've been on the water, forget to, put it in the bag and forget to put it on before you go. And it just can make for a miserable day. That being said, just a quick little blurb about the sunscreen. Basically, uh, when you go out and get clothing to help for your summer fishing, you want to find clothing that has SPF in it. So, and a lot of people, well, what is SPF? Well, basically SPF it measures how much of the solar energy is required to cause a sunburn when you're wearing sunscreen compared to when you're not wearing sunscreen. So if you have something that has a SPF of 30 on it, for example, it's going to block about 97% of the UVB rays. So you get UVA and UVB rays. And you want to block out both of those. So you want a good, what we call physical sunscreen, physical blocker to block
Yeah.
those out. Blue Lizard is one that makes a good sunscreen, and kind of recommend you, if you do it early in the morning before you go out. Let's say we're fishing in May, June. You typically want to go out early morning anyway. Um, you want to put it on before you leave the house. Put it on your face, put it on your head, put it on your ears, put it on your nose, even put it on your hands, your arms, everything. and then wash your hands. That way you're not transferring it to your fly line, your flies, or anything else. And then you can get dressed, go about your day, and have a good day of fishing.
How many times should I apply it throughout the day?
Well, you want to follow directions on the tube, but
Okay.
you do need to put it on, more frequently, every 6 to 8 hours, or depending on what the indications on the bottle says. But it works if you put it on early in the morning, but if you don't reapply, it does break down. And you may find some that have a SPF of 30, SPF of 50, even a SPF of 100. Well, the 100 is going to give you more protection, but if you don't reapply it, it's not going to help you as much.
I've never put it on before I left the house ever.
Yeah. So for fishing, this is really the best way to do it. Is you put
Yeah.
it on before you leave the house, cover everything. You may have to reapply in the mid-afternoon, right? But that way, when you're rigging up and you don't have hands that are slimy. You don't have that stuff, the chemicals on your hands. It's not
Right.
getting on your fly lines, your flies, your leader. So it'll make for a little bit better day.
Huh. I've never thought of that. So good information right off the bat, dude.
Mhm.
Nice. Let's go ahead and start this show. You want to?
Let's do it.
From high atop the world headquarters of Southeastern Fly, this is the Southeastern Fly podcast. Thanks for listening. Give us a click, give us a like, click to follow. I don't think I've said that right since I started saying that. Maybe I need to change that. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, go ahead and sign up for it now. People are already getting info that you're not getting if you're not getting the newsletter. And the newsletter gives you some ideas of what's coming up on the podcast and some fishing tips right off the bat. You get 4 or 5 emails with some just general knowledge, general fishing tips that are going to help you understand what fish are doing, and then also trying to give some fishing tips throughout the monthly newsletter, just to kind of spur some thought. I've got to the point where I think this started with Danielle Davidson's fly that she sends once a month. It's really spurred me to think differently, and hopefully this information is doing the same for you that you get in the newsletter. So who is our guest today on Southeastern Fly? He's a retired physician's assistant. He's now working on his second career as the fishing manager at Orvis in Nashville, Tennessee. He loves to fish just like the rest of us, or he wouldn't be here. Has a lot to share and to make us all better at our craft. Please welcome to the podcast, Patrick Stansbury. Patrick, thanks for stopping by.
David, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, that first answer there to that first question was good, because it taught me that I really don't always do what I should do. And then you gave me a better way to do it. I mean, before you leave the house is great. What I usually do is apply sunscreen at the ramp, and then take some rocks and gravel and stuff and wash my hands with it, just try to get it off my hands. But yeah, I'm gonna do what you said, and I'm gonna apply it at the house, and then and try to make sure that I keep it on a little better this year. Um, I'll say this, that we're doing this, and it's this podcast on keeping cool in the summertime, but it's actually pretty dang cold while we're doing this. But I absolutely don't like the cold. Let's just say that. But too hot's not healthy either. And I've been heat sick before. That's not fun. I've been heat sick on the boat before with some friends. And that is certainly not any fun. But over the years, I've learned to drink, all right, more water, more water, more water, and that's helped. But in the South and in the heat of the summer, we don't always get enough of that. We can always learn more about it. So let's start at the top and work our way down, and we'll talk about protection from the sun throughout, but also how to keep cool and that sort of thing. So I love hats. I don't have one on tonight, which I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking I probably need to, but anyway. But a summer hat's not easy to find, a good summer hat. And one of the things that I find is that the sun bouncing off the water and up, just it cooks my forehead from about right there down to the tip of my nose. And I don't know if it matters how much sunscreen I put on. because the hat's rubbing it off as I'm adjusting throughout the day.
Mhm.
But anyway, a good summer hat's not easy to find. What are some functioning parts of a summer hat that we should look for and help keep the head cooler?
Okay. So one of my favorite hats that I love wearing is a really big wide brim
Mm,
hat. Um, we have some, other companies have some, but it's a crushable. Some are made out of Gore-Tex, most of them are made of nylon. They do have SPF in the hat itself. It's ventilated, it's lightweight. If you're in a boat and you're going up or down the river or out in the Gulf, you can cinch it up, but it keeps a bigger area of sun off of your face. We all like wearing trucker hats, like what I've got on.
mhm.
They're good and they're bad, right? I mean, if you got, sunscreen, obviously you have your ears covered. For those of us who or maybe a little bit follicle challenged, if you will, up top, please make sure and put sunscreen on your head if you're going to be wearing a trucker hat. I've seen people have grids on their
I
scalp.
have too. Yep.
And it can make for again a bad day. But a lot of people also wear like the Stetson straw hats as well. You'll see a lot of big straw hats out there on the river as well.
Yeah.
Anything that is really big and wide brim is a great hat to wear. You know, sometimes if you're waiting or you're fishing, you get too hot, if you got just a good old fishing hat that you love, dunk that in water and put it back on your head. That'll definitely help keep you cool. But as far as hats go, that's the main thing. A big wide brim hat. Tilly hats that we have that also have bug protection, and they also have they can be treated to keep mosquitoes away and gnats. So those are great hats. They're wide brim. Um, I kind of want to add a little bit to the hat part. I'm kind
Yeah.
of going to throw an accessory to this, but sunglasses and sun gloves.
Yes. Yep.
I kind of want to put in the hat category, if you will, because great polarized sunglasses blocking UVA, UVB rays such as Bahios, Smiths, Costas. Those are fantastic, as well as sun gloves. I don't think people wear sun gloves enough.
No.
They're fingerless gloves. They protect the back of your hands. Usually when you get off the water in the summertime, usually the left side seems to always be a lot redder than the right, and so that really makes a big difference where you're fishing. One of my, another good accessory is a buff.
Hmm.
Wearing a buff around your neck. I mean, I know this is kind of a hat question, but it kind of neck up kind of is helped to keep you cool. And one of my fishing associates, Chuck, at the store, has a great thing that he does with his buff. He fishes in a boat and he will have two buffs. One he's got in a cooler with ice.
Yep.
He'll wear that, have the other one cooling, and he'll just switch them out. And that's a great way of keeping cool in the winter. They
Yep.
or in the sorry, in the summer,
Yeah.
and it actually has UPF in it as well.
Yeah. I do the same thing. And if there's when it's really warm and there's water in the cooler, I'll dump it in there and put it on a super hot day. That really makes a huge difference. And it makes a difference. And I've said this before in the way people fish. The more comfortable you are, especially I don't know after lunchish when it starts really getting warm. The more cool, the more comfortable you are, the less energy you're using, and you're able to fish better. I've seen it every day, all summer long. In the winter, it's the opposite. If you get too cold, you don't fish well. But in the summer, if you get too hot, you start getting drained a little bit. It's hard to recover from that,
Yeah.
especially if you do it around I don't know 1 o'clock or so.
Hmm.
When you get off the water at the end of the day, you are just some people are like, I don't even feel like driving home.
Hmm.
And I try to keep water in them and try to keep them covered. Hey, drink this water. Don't dehydrate yourself. You'll get a headache.
Yeah,
And
water is extremely important. I mean, we don't really think about it much because we just want to fish, right?
yeah,
I
right.
mean, we
Yeah.
want to fish, and you really need to hydrate even before you get on the water, and
Yeah.
just keep hydrating throughout the day because that's going to actually keep you cooler. It's going to keep your body temp down. It's going to keep you cooler during these summer fishing months.
Right. Yeah. That's so hats, gloves. I don't wear gloves. I fished with a guy the other day. And he's a young guy. And he was complete buff, gloves, all that. And it was, well, I guess I say the other day, it's probably the 1st of January, which seems like the other day. And he was all covered up, and I looked at him, I was like, okay, well, that's nice and all, but it's January and I got home, my face was sunburned just a little bit, even in January, but it wasn't
Yeah.
nice. It was a great day to be out. So yeah, you don't, I wish I'd have had one of those big hats. One of the things that I learned about 5 or 6 years ago, is that Love's Truck Stop has those types of hats that you're talking about,
Mhm.
the straw looking hats, all different kinds for like $10. They're probably $15 now. They're kind of throwaway, after you sweat in them for a month or two, you can toss them and go get you another one. So I thought that was I don't remember who told me that, but I went by Love's Truck Stop, after they told me, and I was sure enough, there were a bunch of those hats in there. So anyway, little bit of, little bit extra there. So
Mhm.
so keeping the head cool is important, but let's move on. Let's move on to shirts. And I love new shirts. I just cleaned out my closet, threw away some shirts, and my wife was a little bit concerned that I might have thrown away a couple of good shirts, but I assure you I didn't. I I try to be particular with my shirts, but we got all different kinds of fabrics for shirts, and some of them are good, and some of them aren't as good. Cotton, polyester, linen, rayon, hemp. Some have mosquito repellents. We all, almost most of them have an airflow duct somewhere. In the old days, you had that big airflow duct that went all the way across the
Uh,
back and kind of hung down. You know which one I'm talking about. But Patrick, what are some of the things that, as anglers, we should look for in a quality summer fishing shirt?
so as far as material, we'll start there. The polyester and is good with the spandex that has it with a little bit of stretch. Makes
Mm-hmm.
a big difference. You want obviously a shirt that's going to breathe, right? And really, I really like long sleeves
Yeah, so do I.
because a it's going to you know keep you from getting burnt. Okay, but everything that you look at, it's got some kind of UPF, SPF in it, whether it be 30, 40, or 50.
Hmm.
Long sleeves are great. They've got usually got little thumbs, but they're really, really good at help keeping you cool. And I really recommend some of them that even have hoods on them. What I like doing is pulling that hood up over my hat when I'm fishing because it's going to keep the sun off of your neck, right? So we have a particular shirt called the dry cast. It's a lightweight. It's got a UPF 40 in it. It's got a hood you can pull over your head, keep sun off of your neck, and it breathes very well. But more importantly, it dries really quick, and it maintains that sun protection even if it gets wet.
Hmm.
So whether it's wet or dry, you're still going to get protected with it. Unfortunately, cotton feels comfortable. It's great, but it doesn't really offer a lot of sun protection unless it's a like a tighter weave. In other words, if it's sewn really tight, it'll give you a little bit more protection. But a loose weave like a hemp shirt or a linen shirt really doesn't give you. It'll be a little cooler, but it doesn't really protect you that well.
Oh, okay.
Um, there's a lot of shirts that have treated that have the mosquito repellent or bug repellent on them. They work well. I think they can last up to 70 washes or something like that. But those are good as well. But the main thing is finding clothing that has a sun protection factor in it. Whether it be, one with a hood, cord zip, just a long sleeve crew, the open air caster shirts that we sell at our store have those big vents
Yeah.
in the back, and then
Hmm.
some in the pocket. I love those, especially down, in Florida and the Gulf, saltwater fishing, because you get that breeze go through, and it's just like having an air conditioner. I mean, it goes right through the shirt, cools you off. It's great for tropic fishing.
I found so I did a an episode with Emmy Sorsey on and she's the Orvis store manager out in Jackson, and we did it on winter clothing. And by the time she got done with me, I've got new everything because she shamed me into buying. But anyway, I bought this rain jacket, and it's got zippers under the arm too,
Right.
and I can open those up. I bought it during the summer, and so I got the opportunity to use it a couple of times in the rain, and that makes a big difference. You know, where those vents are makes a huge difference on how you feel. And so that one big vent in the back is okay, but other vents in there as well, letting the air flow around your body it really makes a big difference. And I saw it
It
in the
really does.
jacket.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, being cool, you're going to fish a little better. You're not,
Yeah. And,
no.
the main thing is just, whether it's, there are bamboo also is a nice fabric. It's really cool. It's really soft, dries well, and it also has some protection in it. And that's another one. Fabric that is quite comfortable to fish in.
Yeah, that's what this is. This shirt I've got on here is bamboo, not not this one. So yeah, and I've kind of started getting into the bamboo stuff. I probably need to run as fast as I can from it, because I know how I am. I'll deplete my savings account if I'm not careful on it. Um, but there are a lot of people that there are a lot of companies that have shirts with SPF. But one of the things that I'm probably not good at is washing them by the directions. So there's a
Right.
special way to wash them, isn't there?
Right. Yeah. And most of the time, I typically just wash it in cool, cold water, and I actually don't dry them. I
Oh,
will actually just hang dry it, let it
okay.
air dry. I mean, even some of the stuff that we have, if you're on a long fishing trip, and let's just say you go on a fishing trip with some of your buddies, and you got minimal clothing, or you you know, to say airline lost some luggage or something. Some of this stuff you can just wash in the sink, hang it up, and just go back fishing the next day.
I've
So
heard about that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's really important. Obviously, it's important to follow the labels and do it, but I don't really use high heat on anything at all, drying wise,
Hmm.
because you don't want to damage the fabric, if you will. So wash it in cold, and then I pretty much just let it hang dry.
Okay. And is it no? I'm trying to think of what the no was. No conditioner or no
Yeah, no fabric softener.
fabric softener. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't. I never use fabric softener as
Okay.
well. Yeah,
Okay. But it's okay to use like the
yeah, normal
detergent.
detergent. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I
Yeah.
thought so.
And that kind of gets into, if you have any sensitive skin, you may want to do something, that's really mild, like, you know, all, what is it? Yeah, you could probably edit that part out, but I think
It's
it's
okay. That's okay.
cheer, free and clear, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your normal whatever you normally use should work, just
Yeah. It
minus
should be fine.
fabric softener. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm not good at that. I'll go ahead and admit that one right there. It's that's not something I'm good at doing. My wife is, but I am not. So
All right.
let's move into some fishing questions. You want to do that?
Let's do that.
Let's talk about fishing for a while, since this is a fishing podcast. Um, we all have favorite fish, and I knew this question was going to come up today. I knew I was going to ask it, so I started thinking. Uh, since I've got several favorite fish, and I'm starting to move into this trip that we're planning to Florida. So now I'm starting to think about redfish, but we haven't caught the buffalo yet. That spawn comes off very soon. I'm kind of hung up between buffalo and redfish. So if I had to commit to one species right now today, it would probably be buffalo just because they're coming up soon. We've caught some good trout and smallmouth are right around the corner. So they're there. But today it would be buffalo. So Patrick, if I said today, you can only give us one answer. What would the fish be? Would you say would be your favorite fish to chase on the fly?
Hmm. Well, that's a really tough question. I mean, we're blessed. I mean, even living in Tennessee, we got some great fish to chase. We got great trout, we got great smallmouth. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. But today, given the fact that we're recording this in the wintertime, my favorite fish really is snook.
Mm.
I love I love chasing snook along the beach in Florida and the mangroves in Florida. That literally is one of my favorite fish to catch.
Nice. All right. Well, let's
Uh,
talk about that just a minute. What rod are
yeah.
you? What rod are you? Size rod are you
So
taking?
I actually throw an 8 weight.
Okay. Very doable.
Could go 9, but I've 8 weight seems to be really good. I was in Florida 2 days before Hurricane Helene, snook fishing,
All
and
right.
it was pretty epic. I was out for about 2 hours and boated about 6 or 8 fish,
Wow.
34 to 35 inches. And
That's
it's a great fish on a fly rod. It's fun. It jumps. It's got a great pull. I mean, it's a great take. Aggressive fish. Just a lot of fun.
mm, okay.
And especially on the beach. The beach is the best because you literally can just walk up and down the beach, and you don't even have to get your feet wet. They are in that first trough along the beach, and you'll get pods anywhere up to 6 to 12
Oh.
snook just cruising, and you just sight cast for
Oh.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and
Uh-huh.
kind of going back to the clothing aspect, a little fun story. I think it was in June or July. I was fishing, walking up the beach, just looking, scanning for snook, and I had my hood on my long sleeve shirt over my hat. And this older gentleman who was had a lot of leathery skin, we should say, stopped me and said, "Son, aren't you hot?" I said, "Well, no, sir, not actually. Actually, having this hood up makes me cooler. It's taking the sun off of me, and it feels a lot better." He's like, "Well, okay." But yeah, so it's a lot of fun chasing snook on the beach. It really is.
What do you
And
use for flies down there?
you know, a lot of different types of flies. There is a gentleman who I met down there, and unfortunately, he's passed away now. But he came out with a fly, a snook fly called the Schminnow, and it was a great little fly. It's not a real large fly, just basically. I think it was only like two materials. It's just white marabou and white pearl estaz wrapped around with some just some eyes, not even dumbbell eyes,
Oh.
just your plastic eyes, and it does a great job. It's a
Huh.
fantastic job. Anything that maybe a pinfish or mullet, appearing fly anywhere from 2 to 3 inches is all you need.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
And then you just walk the beach.
Yeah, just walk the beach. You'll see them coming. You just kind of lead them, and hopefully the one will take, and he's off to the races.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot of fun.
what are some of the better places down there that you found to walk the beach?
So I spent a lot of time in Sanibel and Captiva
Okay.
down there on South Florida. Right out of Fort Myers is just a fantastic, fantastic place. The gentleman there that I was referring to, his name was Norm Ziegler. He had a fly shop down there and was just a really, he really put snook fishing on the beach really on the map, I think.
Oh,
So some of the periodicals and things that you read, you go back to him. He has he had a lot of experience just snook fishing from the beach, and we're talking some big snook.
yeah, yeah. So
So,
what is a big snook? Tell me what a big
oh,
speaker.
I mean, he's
Oh,
had some that were up to 45, 50
oh,
inches. I
okay.
mean, big, 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 big fish.
Yeah, those are big.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
do
if you're
you?
really lucky early in the morning, you got some tarpon that kind of will come
Oh,
close to the beach. And so that's kind of fun to try to snag one of those while you're at it.
that's helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful to a good day.
Maybe not on an 8 weight, but
Ah, yeah, maybe not, but still be fun while it lasted.
oh, definitely. Definitely.
Tarpon is my nemesis.
Yeah.
And yeah, we won't go into that though. So the
Yeah.
snook fishing sounds like it'd be something worth doing.
It
Uh,
really is a lot of
I
fun.
haven't been down that far yet. I needed to.
Yeah.
I stay too close to home, I think. So you're talking about walking the beach, but we've got folks that do walk the beach. We've got people, and me included. I do walk the beach some whenever when I'm down there, uh, and we've got some anglers that float, of course, and we've got anglers that are lucky and they get to do both. So if you're wading, it's easier to keep cool because you're wading a little deeper. You just wade in a little deeper and you can get a little cooler. On the bow of a boat in Lower Alabama, Florida, even in Tennessee, it's not as easy. But is there a different philosophy on pants than there is on other clothing, or is it about the same? And talk to us about what you're doing in waders in the summer if you happen to be wearing waders.
Well, so as far as pants go, we'll stick with the pants question first.
Okay,
Um, you know, there is a pair of pants that Orvis sells called the Jackson Quick Dry pants.
I've got some of those.
Um, Truly, it is a great pant. One,
Hmm.
it has sun protection in the pant. Two, it really is a quick dry pant. I mean, when I'm on the boat, I wear it all the time in the summer. And it's very cool. It breathes very well. And I have no problem getting it wet, walking out there. It will dry extremely quick.
Yep.
And I really enjoy wearing pants while I'm out. And I think the older I get, I realize that having that nice uh, tan and wearing the shorts, I mean, they're nice, but I enjoy not getting burned.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
want to fish longer, um, and that makes a really big difference. But not only that, during the summertime, sometimes you're fishing early morning, late at night,
Yes.
and bugs can be really bad, especially South Florida. The no-see-ums are just brutal,
Yeah,
and pants make a huge, huge difference. Uh,
absolutely.
so I mean, I enjoy. They're cool. I don't get too hot wearing them. They're wet. The water's cool anyway. So whether I'm wet wading in Tennessee or on the beach down there, I do enjoy wearing long pants. They definitely protect they're made out of the polyester nylon spandex. So I mean they breathe, they stretch. So really I enjoy those. Now we also, there's also pairs of pants that are strictly wading pants that, actually have a drawstring at the bottom of the cuff. Also has a snap to put on your wading shoes, if you will, to
Oh
keep
yeah.
the pant down. And again, same thing though. They have some protection on them, but they also breathe well. They dry quick. If you want to, just keep the pant down onto your boot while you're, in the stream, that's a great pant to wear.
I went through this 2 or 3 years ago, I went through this thing of wearing pants and wearing shorts. One time I'd wear pants, next time I'd wear shorts, and I think the pants, and this is strictly my feeling on it and what I've done. So don't send me an email that I'm wrong because I probably am. But nonetheless, I felt like when I was wearing shorts, and I'm talking August, that the sun just cooked my legs and just heated my legs up, and I couldn't cool them down.
Mhm.
Whereas wearing the pants, they just didn't seem to be have that same feeling,
Mhm.
in the heat of the day. Like it was just a little bit more protection in there, so it wasn't
Yeah,
baking my skin so much.
yeah,
Even though I wasn't sunburned,
right.
it just felt like, hot to the touch on your skin sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah.
So the pant thing, I wore pants most of the time last year. And you're right. As you get older, the tan doesn't make quite as big a difference. I mean, heck, nobody wants to see no old man's legs.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of coming around to wearing shorts or wearing
Yeah.
pants now, a little more than shorts anyway. So I think that in my mind, it made a difference. I may be
Mhm.
completely wrong, and science may say, no, you're wrong, David. And that's okay. But
Mhm.
I felt like I was a little cooler.
Yeah. I mean, during the summer, like, you know, if I'm wearing waders during the summer, I'm 9 times out of 10 rolling them down and just making wading pants out of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
To keep, yeah, and that's just a lot cooler.
Yeah.
And that helps. And now usually I have a pair of shorts on, underneath the waders, or I keep have extra if I'm wearing, pants, just another pair of shorts, uh, in the truck, throw
Yeah.
on the way home, or go grab something afterwards. But I really enjoy just rolling the waders down, just making wader pants
Yeah.
out of them. That's definitely one way of just staying cooler with waders.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't wear waders because I'm
Yeah,
always sitting for the most part, rowing, and my legs are exposed that way. So I think if that was the case, I probably would. I don't know if I'd wet wade or not in the tailwaters around here because they can get a little cool, but
yeah, they do get cool.
but I might. I don't know. In the Smokies, I definitely. I've stepped into a yellow jacket's nest one day fishing up there. So, and yellow jackets, I've said this before, they bite underwater. Just
Mhm.
because you jump in the river doesn't mean that they quit biting or stinging, because they keep right on stinging until you get them off of you. But I feel like if I'd have had some pants on that day versus blue jean shorts of all things,
Yeah. Ooh.
yeah, yeah, that I wouldn't have had so many stings on me. But anyway. So pay, all of this, all of this hopefully is helping somebody rethink their game. Like our winter time where episode did with Emmy. It
Yeah,
really made several people have come up to me and said, "Yeah, I've kind of rethink the way that I do
yeah,
things, for winter and summer's the same thing. I mean, it's just
right.
especially in the South.
Yeah.
Up north,
I mean,
you can keep cool. You just got to keep the sun off of you. Here, it's you know, you're in the rain all the time because there's so much humidity.
yeah. And you gotta remember, you're still getting sun on a cloudy day, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
and if if you're wearing, I would say just really, try wearing the long sleeves with the hood, do the sunscreen. See, I think people will be a little bit more comfortable when they go and when they fish.
Yeah.
And I think they'll actually notice you may be even a little cooler. It does make a difference wearing the right clothing than
Yeah.
just
It does.
throwing on a cotton t-shirt, pair of shorts, or whatever. I mean, I do feel like it makes a huge difference in how you feel, and you're going to be able to fish longer.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly. You be more fresh, and fresh makes a difference. I keep preaching that. I
Oh,
preach that to my customers too. That hey, I want you fresh. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon because we're gonna get some better water hopefully and some bigger fish. And I want you to be on point whenever that happens. Um, So good answers on that. Good answers. That's
good.
helpful to me anyway. If nothing else, it's going to help me, and I can relay that to people as well. But I think the people that have listened and made it this far probably starting to come around and hopefully up their game a little bit. I want to switch back to fishing just for a minute here. Um, so I always kind of, I say this a lot, but fishing brings us together. It doesn't separate us. We don't normally argue about it. We all have this in common, the fishing in common, whether it's freshwater or saltwater. We can always come together there. And as we come together talking about fishing, and eventually somebody whips out their phone and shows a picture of a big fish almost every time. I'm sure you see it in the store all the
all the time.
time. Yeah. And I'm glad that people are
And we
catching.
love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
Right. Yeah. I try to look at the background and figure out where the heck they are and all that, but they should be celebrated. But so catching fish and showing them off, all that's pretty common, but we don't always, we hardly ever hear about the one that got away. The only thing that I can say about the one that got away is usually, well, it was the biggest one. Usually the one that got away was the biggest one. And I
That
said
is,
that the other day. I said we had a good day on the water. Uh, we lost one, and we did, that was a big fish in anybody's book. My friend he kind of looked at me like, yeah, okay. But it was true. But tell us the story about the one that got away, because that's what I want to hear about.
yeah. So I don't know. There are several actually. It never fails, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was thinking about this. The one that got away, the one that really has hurt me the most was actually on my birthday
Oh,
on the South Platte in Colorado.
oh, okay.
So I go out to Colorado to see my son on my birthday, get a full day guide, and we're wade fishing, right? We're
Yeah.
on the South Platte and we're wade fishing. And
Let me stop you right there. Where
yeah,
were you on the South Platte? What part?
so we were close to Cheeseman Canyon,
Okay, okay. All right.
um, Deckers.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and so we started off pretty good. This is actually early, fairly, I'd say early to mid morning. And guides are fantastic, like you said. I mean, they teach us stuff, we learn. It doesn't matter how long you've been fishing, you can always learn something new. And so we go through a couple rivers. We caught a few fish, nothing major at all. So we work down along this big rock wall. I'm casting towards this rock wall, and we're just roll casting. And he's helping me get a little bit more distance off of my roll cast. Trying to put it along this, the bubble line that's going down through there. And I get it out and I just didn't quite. I mean, we're talking maybe a foot or two off of that bubble line. And I'm about ready to pick it up. He said, no, just let it drift out and we'll get it the next time.
Yep.
Okay. So I'd say maybe, 5-10 feet. And I'm watching it, and all of a sudden that indicator just drops. And it was a serious tug. And I hook into this massive big rainbow. And I mean, he was mad. He didn't like any bit of being hooked. And it felt like 20 minutes, but it was probably only 5.
Right,
But
right.
he ran, he came. I fought that fish for a long time. The guide was, trying to net him, but it was getting to some really shallow rock, water a little further downstream. He ran up, he ran down, he ran up, he ran down. Finally, I'm getting in close. He's about ready to net the fish. The fish gets scared, takes off, and goes to the shallow part and breaks me off.
Oh,
Now, he did jump out of the water, and the guide just kind of screamed, and he looked at me and said, okay, this is the largest fish we have gotten all year.
thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
And this is why I'm fine. And when he broke off, I literally just put my hands on my knees, and I just could not believe it, because I mean, it literally would have been one of my personal best. He was a big fish, and that really hurt. I mean, it took hours and days to get over that one. especially on your birthday.
I know it. You need to get your best fish on your birthday, or
Yeah.
some a better
Yeah.
fish on your
So,
birthday
I mean,
anyway.
that one really hurt. I mean, I have definitely several, but that one still sticks out because I mean, and when you lose a fish, you know exactly where you are standing,
Oh yeah.
exactly where that take took place.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing. You may forget some of the other ones you caught where you were at, but you'll never forget where you lost that one.
I guarantee you, I could drive, even though there's snow on the ground out there. I guarantee you, I could drive you back out there today, and you could take me to that place and
Oh
say,
yeah,
I was standing right
exactly.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly where we lost that fish earlier in
Yeah.
the week. Exactly. And so does the guy that had it on.
Yeah. So that was painful. Yeah. It's like, what did I do? He's like, you did everything perfect. You fought him great. He just went over some rocks and just snapped it off.
Yeah. Sometimes they just get off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could do everything right, and it's just their day, not yours.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
He
I
was
like,
big for a reason.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I keep telling myself too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the South Platte. I fished from, gosh, up around above Fairplay, Alma,
Hmm.
that area, um, on down to 11 Mile. I don't know if I fished it below there or not. Um, I don't, because we couldn't fish it this time at Deckers or anywhere like that. It was way too low.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
long
it's
river.
long, but it's a great fishery.
It is. It is. I hope they take care of it. I know they try to, and
Yeah. It gets a
that's
lot of pressure.
it does get a lot of pressure. It does. Probably not like it does around here sometimes. Like some of the
Mhm.
rivers around here, they get
Yeah.
it all year, and out there, probably nobody's fishing out there right now. But I guarantee there was somebody on the rivers around here. So today, but
Have fished it when it was snowing, 14 inches.
out there,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, that's uh that's a good day.
Yeah, it was a good day because
Yeah,
we had it to ourselves. Not
yeah.
to mention the hatch came off around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and I actually caught one on the dry while
Oh,
it was snowing.
nice,
Couldn't
nice.
see it, but just set the hook when there was something rose.
See, that was your day.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say we close this one out?
All right. Well, I
Oh,
enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah, good information, technical information. So give us a like, click the follow. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, go ahead and sign up for it now. People are already getting info that you aren't getting if you don't have it. So, who was our guest today on Southeastern Fly? He's a retired physician's assistant. Now he's working on his second career as the fishing manager at Orvis in Nashville, Tennessee. Like you could see, he loves to fish and talk about fishing, just like the rest of us. He shared a lot of info to make us better at our craft. We appreciate the time, Patrick Stansbury. Patrick, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much, David. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed the conversation, and if nobody got anything out of it, they need to go back and listen to it again because I got a ton of information right off the bat. There were some good ones, good pointers there. So you just listen to Patrick Stansbury, hot weather, cool fishing strategies on Southeastern Fly. See you next time.